Welcome to Your Health is Your Wealth. My name is Argo Duenas and I'm your host for today. I'm also the owner of Back to Nature Health and Wellness Center, a local holistic health center that has served the Baltimore, D.C., Virginia, Eastern Shore, Annapolis area for over 30 years. I want to take this opportunity to wish you and your family a very happy, healthy, prosperous, and joy-filled new year. I have as my special guest today two awesome doctors. They're naturopaths in the Maryland area. That's Dr. Stephanie Porter and Dr. Elise Benzgowski. And they're here today to truly empower us to take charge of our life and our health. Welcome, Dr. Porter and Dr. Benzgowski, for being my very special guest today. I know you came from Ellicott City today, right?
Yes, we did.
Traveling through sometimes inclement weather, but I'm happy to have you today. And before we talk about the state of the health and detoxification and why it is so important, I'd like for you to share with our viewers something about, first of all, Dr. Stephanie, and how you got involved in naturopathy.
Yes, so basically it was second career for me, and I've been practicing now for about 17 years. And have had my practice here in Maryland for the past 10 years, actually 11 now that we have a new year. And it's been a joy to be back here in Maryland serving the area that I grew up in. I'm native to Maryland. Wonderful. And it was the desire to see truly integrative medicine available to everybody in the state that brought me back here to start a practice.
Okay, and we're going to talk about integrative medicine in a few minutes, but Dr. Elise, tell us something about yourself and where you're from and why you were guided into the field of natural medicine instead of allopathic medicine.
I'm originally from Canada, and that's where I did my training, my naturopathic medical degree. And I was very active in my youth, teens, early 20s in athletics and sports, and that really fueled my interest in nutrition and fitness. And I started working with people in my own fitness and nutrition company. And through working with patients, helping them reach their health goals, I realized that I wanted more tools to help them get to where they wanted to be. And so I researched a more preventative natural healthcare system, and that's where naturopathic medicine fit in. So it allowed me to better serve my patients and offer them more support to reach their health goals.
Okay. Now, Dr. Porter, you mentioned the word integrative medicine. What's the difference between naturopathy and allopathic? And then what is integrative? Because we're kind of throwing these terms around. Can you elaborate a little bit more?
Very good question. So basically the training is similar for naturopathic and medical doctors and osteopaths. We're monitored by the same educational system, so on and so forth. However, there are different universities that we go to. In the naturopathic world, we learn more about diet, lifestyle, herbs, nutrients, and preventative medicine. Whereas in the allopathic, they are working more with the pharmaceuticals in general. So it's a nice way that we integrate together. When we work as a team for our patients, what we can do is provide the best of both worlds. And in the naturopathic world, again, that's an area where we're a little more focused on prevention, wellness. In the cancer world, it would be more survivorship, but also working with patients that are actively receiving therapies. They might be on conventional therapies, for example, chemotherapies or things like that, where it's important for them to address side effects, protect organs at risk, and various other issues that can come up during conventional therapy.
So basically that's what integrative medicine is sort of bridging the gap between traditional medicine or allopathic medicine and naturopathy, and that's where you fit in. You've worked with many doctors here locally, I believe, here in Annapolis, haven't you? Yeah. You want to talk about that?
Yes, we have a really good medical system here and a lot of really good medical doctors, and it's just been a joy to team with them with patients. So for example, I may have patients with diabetes who are on metformin or even insulin that are looking to see if they can improve their health and not need or be as dependent upon those. Sometimes there are people who have reactions to pharmaceuticals and can no longer take them. It's a really good time for me to team with the doctor and with the patient and see how the natural medicine side can help and benefit them.
Right. Now, Dr. Elise, Are you seeing a paradigm shift in the medical establishment? Because I just did a TV show with Dr. Yu not too long ago. They had a big conference in Baltimore, and there were naturopaths there, there were osteopaths there, were holistic people, as well as traditional doctors, trying to really bridge that gap and focus more on dietary lifestyle changes and a prevention. Do you see a paradigm shift taking place?
I do see more integration with conventional medicine and naturopathic medicine, and really to best suit the needs of the patient. Because what we want to consider is that prevention, survivorship, chronic disease, these are all things that our conventional medical system doesn't have all the solutions for. And so patients are looking for additional support, and that's where we can come in. And for me, integrative medicine is really about the safe and evidence-based combination of pharmaceuticals, allopathic care, and then our naturopathic therapies as well.
Can you elaborate more on naturopathy? Because we know that there's a body, mind, spirit connection. We are living organisms, but we do have a body, mind, and spirit. And so with traditional medicine, the focus more is on treating symptoms and not dealing with the cause. And so in talking with many of the holistic practitioners, their focus is trying to get rid of the inflammation in the body through making dietary changes and cleansing. We're going to talk more about detoxification, but what are your thoughts about that, Dr. Stephanie?
Very good question. In the naturopathic world, we work with all three, body, mind, and spirit, and they're basically integrated. It's pretty hard not to understand the relationship between mind, body, spirit, body, so on and so forth. Stress is a prime example for that. When a person is very stressed out and it's affecting the HPA axis, you can also see emotional changes in the person. If there's been abuse in the past, there can be physical aspects that the person reflects from that abuse. When you address all three of them, I find that patients tend to heal a little quicker and need less for their healing.
Okay, then that segues me here into your practice. The name of your clinic is Bodhi.
Yes.
Bodhi. Where'd you get, that's interesting, where'd you get that name from?
Very good question. So when I first moved back here, I was looking for a name that would represent what I do with the clinic. And basically, it's to work with the innate ability of the body to heal. The person, the patient, does all of the healing. We can help guide them and walk the journey with them, however their body is doing the healing. So I did a Sanskrit and a Latin search and an English search for a word that could embody that. And the Bodhi tree is the tree that the Bodhisattva, the Buddha, sat under when he was enlightened. So it represents in that tradition the tree of knowledge and wisdom where you find your inner healing.
Wow, that's awesome, because I always wondered, where did that come from? So now I am truly enlightened. Let's talk about your practice. What are some of the services that you offer, and who would seek naturopathic therapies?
Very good question. So basically, our training is the same as a primary care physician. That's not how we practice here in Maryland currently. However, that is how we're trained. And basically, we can handle just about anything that a primary care physician can handle, working with our modalities in the way that we do that. So really, there's not anything a person couldn't come to see us for. And in the world, the modalities that we work with are diet, lifestyle, herbs, nutrients, homeopathics, hydrotherapy, any combination of those. And there are various ways to work with those modalities with any health issue. Some of the things, the bigger areas I would say that we treat a lot of would be gastrointestinal disorders, cancer, female health issues. Allergies in this area is a pretty big one as well.
Absolutely.
So that would be another one we see a lot of patients for.
Absolutely. Dr. Elise, what are some of the therapies that you have practiced and have gotten some great results from?
I am very passionate about nutrition and the food and medicine that we put in our body every day. So I certainly do a lot of diet and lifestyle work, and patients from changing their diet alone can have wonderful results. It is challenging though, and probably some of the more challenging work, those lifestyle changes. I also really love herbs and using herbs because they, unlike pharmaceutical drugs, herbs are more gentle generally, and they can help the body balance. So whether the body needs to increase or decrease some system, herbs have this kind of internal intelligence to help do that. So I do use a lot of herbs.
Okay, what is homeopathy?
Homeopathy is very misunderstood and often difficult to explain. I tell patients that it's a form of energetic medicine, and it's meant to offer balancing on mental, emotional, and physical levels. So a homeopathic remedy can be made from anything. It's so diluted that it's not said to contain any of the original substance, but in that way it's very safe, has no side effects, and can offer some pretty profound support.
Well, you know, in fact, I fell, injured both knees, oh my God, about 6 months ago. I was trying to get into Trader Joe's before they closed at night, and it was during the winters. Yeah, it was maybe early spring. I fell. As you see, I don't have a lot of adipose, right? Yes. So, and I was rushing, running, and fell and hit both of my knees simultaneously on cement. So it's bone on cement. I fell and landed on my bottom, and it was so surreal. Everybody looked, but finally I got help. But you know, I've been really dealing with the knee injury for a while now, and I am noticing tremendous and significant results using things like arnica, the homeopathic little pellets, the gel, but also turmeric, and some other supplements that I'm taking. So I know that you all are into nutritional supplementation as well.
Yes.
So you want to elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, so I'm glad that you've been using the natural therapies and they've been helping. Very good choices. What we work with in the naturopathic world, a great deal of supplements and nutrients for various health issues. And what's very important to us is the safe use of those supplements, as well as making sure there are not drug-herb interactions for people. So that's one of the areas that we focus a great deal on.
That's a good question because, you know, Dr. Tom Wilson,
Yes.
the pharmacist, but he's also a master herbalist over in Cape St. Clair. I've known him for years. I've done TV show with him as well. And many of my clients, I'm sure as your patients too, have been on pharmaceuticals. And sometimes there are contraindications with herbs, and I don't know about homeopathic medicine, but it's important that they know or connect with a naturopath and also a pharmacist to find out about the contraindications. Now, I understand that you are now embarking on a 3-week workshop and program for detoxification. But before we talk about detoxification, let's talk about the state of health of America. We have one of the highest cancer death rates. 1 out of 3 people are diabetic or pre-diabetic. We have the highest rate of obesity on the planet. Why is America so sick?
Very good question. So that's one of the areas that we as naturopaths hope to make a difference and help. We would probably go back to the foundations of medicine that we look at. And in the foundations of health in general, what you want to pay attention to is diet, lifestyle, and just very core factors. How much are people moving? What types of foods are people eating? Are those foods nutritious? What are they providing for the person? So we kind of step back with our patients and really do a lot of work in that area. And there's a great deal of information showing that diet affects our health more than we ever would have imagined. In the naturopathic world, we've always known that, and if you look at traditional medicine like Chinese medicine or Ayurvedic, they have worked with diet and lifestyle and food from the beginning of time, or at least the beginning of written history. And in this country, it's been a little bit more of a struggle for us to understand how much effect that can have on us. So it's an area that we work with a lot, and I feel that a great deal of the health issues in our country can be handled more through less invasive therapies than what we have. However, it does need a little more work and energy and effort on the person's part.
Now, we used to say we are what we eat. Now we know that we are what we absorb. And there was even a doctor on PBS, Dr. Elaine Ferguson. She says it's more than what we eat, it's more than what we absorb, it's what we're feeling and how our emotional state and mental state affects our well-being. And because here we go with the mind, body, spirit again, we do know that, you know, the American diet, SAD, that they call it, is horrible. It's creating all kinds of degenerative, inflammatory diseases to the point of death. Young people are developing, I get a lot of young people coming in for colonics and detoxification. Their diets are horrible. They're eating a lot of gluten foods, a lot of bad fats, a lot of sugars. Many of them are developing age-related diseases and leaving the planet too soon. Many of them are having heart attacks, they're diabetic, they're developing cancer at very, very early ages. What is your thoughts about that, Dr.
Yeah, I
Elise?
think that we have put health on the back burner and we haven't made health a priority. And one of the principles of naturopathic medicine is to treat the whole person. And the beautiful part about that is that we can help a patient wherever they're at. So we are very passionate about diet and lifestyle contributing to health. And so if a patient is ready to make small changes or large changes, we do it at their pace and something that works for them. I think another thing to consider is disease prevention, and we don't want to consider disease until we have it. We want to work to prevent something that we might be more vulnerable to based on our family history, our genetics, or other factors in our lifestyle, and that is another part of the whole person care that naturopathic doctors consider.
So let's talk about detoxifying, because for our viewers, I want them to take away something from this show, to let them know when you eliminate what the body doesn't need, give it what it needs, the body is able to heal and cleanse and maintain and sustain itself. Tell us about your program, your detox.
Yeah, so basically the detox is a 3-week detox, and it's a food-based, plant-based detox. The objective is that people are doing for the 3 weeks, what they can do every day in life. So they can carry very healthy and good habits with them after the detox.
Right.
Seems that the 3 weeks is a critical kind of time because it allows for actual changes in the system and in our choices. Sometimes if we do shorter detoxes or cleanses, we really don't maintain that. We look at it as a short term, not something we should keep with. So the detox itself really seems to have a high success rate with that.
So when you say plant-based, tell me what are we going to be eating now? What are we going to be drinking? What are we going to be eating?
It's easier to say what you're not.
What we're going to eliminating, right? Absolutely.
Vegetables,
Okay.
vegetables, fruit, basically whole foods. So when we
No grains.
No, whole grains. You can have some whole gluten-free grains. But when we look at food packages and we don't understand a lot of the ingredients, those are things that we want to avoid. So the refined, processed, high sugar foods that are more likely to back up our digestive system.
What about raw juices? Okay, are we doing raw juices and smooth? There are all kinds of detox programs out here. I mean, I get clients coming in, they're doing 21 days of just raw juice. I had a guy, just all water, distilled water. I said, okay. Clean your colon out, but it is important. So you say gluten, they can eat gluten-free products?
They can have gluten-free whole grains.
Whole grains.
So for example, brown rice.
Okay.
Or
Black
quinoa.
Rice?
Yep, black rice, wild rice.
But no wheat, barley, rye, and oats.
Right.
What about things like almond milk? I do almond milk, but sometimes I think that the carrageen can be inflammatory. Is that right? So now I'm seeing that they have almond milk with am I pronouncing it correctly? Yes. Carrageen. Okay. What about blood type? Because when I first started doing colonics, I got a call from Dr. Andrea Sullivan.
Yes.
Very well-known naturopath out of D.C. She had gone to Bastyr College, graduated, and she was looking for a colon therapist part-time. And that was almost 30 years ago. And that's where I got a lot of my experience. And she was into blood type. Are you all into blood types as well?
It is definitely something that we look at with each patient. The blood type is going to tell you a little bit about their constitution. And in naturopathic medicine, the constitution of the person is very important. The constitution kind of guides us in what herbs, what therapies may work a little better with them. So with the blood typing, for example, blood type O's typically desire or need a little more protein than maybe an A or a B. So we may find ways to adjust their detox so that they have access to healthier proteins.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a factor that we definitely look at.
Okay, so let's go back to the detox
Yes.
now. How much water should we be drinking every day?
Typically, what we'll recommend is half of your body weight in ounces. It's a very easy way for people to think of it. And then what you would do is you would increase that by 6 to 8 ounces if you're exercising for a half hour to an hour, depending how much you sweat and things like that.
So what would breakfast look like for us if we're on a detox?
Well, we do have a few supplements, so a supplemental protein powder that we use. You could make a shake, a smoothie with that powder. I like bland soup, so you could have a bland lentil soup. You could make a sweet potato toast with tahini and cut up bananas or cinnamon. You could make a chia pudding with chia, unsweetened almond milk, some avocado in there, berries.
What about lunch? Give me an example of lunch. Same thing?
Yes, you could have the same thing. So you could also, of course, do a smoothie or shake, but you could do some brown rice with some steamed veggies, maybe some homemade pesto or a miso gravy on there. You could do a salad with any type of vegetable.
What about bone broth? A lot of people are into bone broth now. What are your thoughts about bone broth?
Well, for the detox, we don't recommend the bone broths because there's different intentions with that. So for the detox, we get away from animal products as much as we can just to let the body rest in different ways. However, in the cancer world and various other situations, the bone broths can be indicated and very beneficial to the patient.
So why is it important to clean out your gut? Because I think it was Hippocrates that says life or death begins in your colon. So why is it important to clean your gut, your colon, that is?
It's pretty interesting because with the Gut Biome Project, we've learned so much more about the entire GI tract, and what we now know is that the gut bugs that are in our gastrointestinal tract actually produce a lot of the amino acids and various things we need to have a sense of well-being. So there's this GBA axis, they call it now, gut-brain axis, where we realize that things that interfere with the gut flora in the gastrointestinal tract can affect your emotional sense of well-being. So there's a great deal that we need to pay attention to there, and with the detox what we do is we work with different ways to improve the gut flora, decrease inflammation, and hopefully benefit the patient in more than one way.
So do you recommend colonics for your patients?
Yeah, we do. We definitely do. We have options. There's five organs of elimination that we want to work with during a detox, and we need to make sure that all 5 are running appropriately. Otherwise, it can be difficult for the patient. They can have headaches. They can have other side effects related to that. One of the things that the colon hydrotherapy does, as you well know, is helps with the colon and helps clean the colon out and improve the gut flora that are in that area. Yeah.
Now, what about probiotics? Because we see all of these commercials about probiotics in this, probiotics in your yogurt, probiotics, which I don't particularly believe that because it's pasteurized, probiotics in chewing gum, candy, sodas. So let's talk about probiotics and why it is so important to probiotics or fermented foods.
Yep. Well, we also want to consider that our digestive system is the seat of our immune system. So whenever we're working on our digestive system, we're working on our immune system, which can affect every system of the body. So those healthy gut bugs, that healthy bacteria that we should have in our system can get really easily upset by stress, by eating refined or processed foods, by antibiotics or other medications we can take. And so in those instances, we want to consider supplementing those healthy bugs from a pill. And a natural source would be fermented foods. So those are foods that are given time for the bacteria to work on. Kimchi, miso, tempeh, kefir, those are just some examples of fermented foods. But what I will say too about probiotic supplements is that they're not all equivalent. Some have been studied and shown for specific disease conditions to be helpful, and then others, I would just be wary of.
Well, I would say I probably spent thousands of dollars on supplements throughout my lifetime, you know, because I do believe that we do need to supplement. According to Dr. Wallach, you know, the soil is a lot of our soils is devoid of minerals, so we definitely need minerals. But we know that all supplements are not created equal. So we go to Whole Foods, we go to Trader Joe's, we go to this place, and what are your thoughts about supplementing, and you know, give us some direction in terms of buying high quality supplements. Should it be food based, because we know a lot of the supplements are synthetic, and I have people coming in with syndromes, and I take this, and I've actually seen vitamin pills come through the View tube of the colonic machine, undigested food particles, corn, popcorn, peanuts. I see all of that coming through. We're not chewing, but we're not digesting, we're not breaking down. So what are your thoughts about that?
Well, when you see a naturopathic doctor, we only prescribe pharmaceutical grade and professional line supplements, and those are ones that you mostly only get from a naturopathic doctor. They're not the ones that you would find at the shelf of a grocery store or otherwise. And that's because not all supplements are created equally, and that's partly because the FDA doesn't regulate natural products very well. So there's no third party checking the supplements to make sure they have what's on the label. So what we recommend beyond buying your supplements from a naturopathic doctor is to go to a health food store that has a good reputation, that can direct you to some of the brands that have been around a long time, that they commonly deal with, versus the ones that have been shown to maybe not have what's on the label.
Absolutely. Dr. Porter, what are your thoughts about a liver flush? I have lots of clients who come in and they're doing a liver flush and a liver cleanse. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, it's an important thing to pay attention to. The liver processes all of the toxins as well as our endogenous and exogenous hormones and various other things. So the liver is a little overtaxed in this day and age with the toxicity levels in our air, in our water, in our soil, so on and so forth. So anytime that you're working to cleanse your liver, nurture your liver, give it a little bit of rest, it's a really good idea.
What are some foods that are very nurturing and cleansing for the liver?
Dark leafy greens, beets, root vegetables are really wonderful for the liver. Yeah.
What about the liver flush? You know, I have clients who've done, there's a Dr. Moritz, and I think even Longevity also has a awesome liver flush where people take the oil, mix it with grapefruit juice, lemon juice, and do the flush overnight and take metabolic or digestive enzymes to help really cleanse and nutrify the other 12 organ systems. Do you actually have your clients go through a liver flush? Because I think that is important too. I see these little stones coming out, as they call it, liver stones, gallstones. What are your thoughts about that?
We tend to work more with a broader picture, not just the liver. So you know, with people who are healthy in general and are just looking to cleanse and do things, those can work really well. If you're in a chronic disease state or a state of dis-ease, out of ease, it can be different because that can be a little bit, again, hard for the body if they can't process the toxins other ways. So what we might do is incorporate more things and also address the lungs, also address the kidneys, also address other areas along with the liver.
Now, I understand you will be doing some workshops at your office in Ellicott City, right?
Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. So we have the Bodie Clinic's main office is in Ellicott City, and we also have a location in Crownsville. And at the Ellicott City location, we have some wonderful classes coming up. The 3-week detox class. We also have just an intro to naturopathic medicine. And we're starting a series for cancer. We're going to initially start with breast cancer. And what we want to do is make information available to people who may not have the energy or time to get to a naturopath on a regular basis. But we'll talk about diet and lifestyle and some of the things that they can do that have shown through research to decrease the risk of a cancer recurrence or make it harder for a cancer to grow.
Right. Now, Dr. Elise, I understand, did you used to work for the Cancers of America?
Yes, when I finished my training, my naturopathic training, I did a 2-year residency in naturopathic oncology at a cancer treatment center hospital, and then I stayed on as a staff member.
And you also, that's awesome, because Anne Arundel County, the city of Annapolis, state of Maryland, we have very high rates of cancer. Breast cancer and lung cancer. and prostate cancer. I did the stats from the health department here in Annapolis. So we have very high rates of cancer, and we're just happy that we now have naturopaths who have made themselves available to really empower us to take charge of our life and our health, because truly our health is our wealth. Any final comments from the both of you? We only got 2 minutes left, so a final comment from you, Dr.
Yes, what
Porter?
I would like to add in is that we're very happy to report also that Maryland now has licensure for naturopathic doctors.
Yeah. Wonderful.
So since 2016, we've been licensed in the state, which is just increasing the accessibility and the number of naturopaths that want to come to the state. So there will be more providers. You happen to have 2 FADNOs here, which is a fellow to the Associate Board of Naturopathic Oncology. And that means we have special training in oncology.
Awesome.
So we've done additional training so that we can work with their oncologist, their surgeon, and other practitioners that they're working with, and provide the naturopathic side of oncology care. So we are very happy to be able to provide that to the state as well.
That is awesome. Dr. Elise,
Yeah.
any final comments?
I guess my last comment would just be that both Dr. Porter and myself are very passionate about the safe and evidence-based use of natural therapies alongside cancer treatment, that you can do it safely, it has been studied, and it can help patients' quality of life during and after treatment. And I would love to see every patient with cancer to offer them that support, but and that in Maryland that might change in the near future, but we're just very passionate to offer support to cancer patients.
Well, on that note, I feel your energy, I feel your passion, and I am coming on board with you both.
Wonderful.
And I thank both of you for taking time out from your busy schedule to be my special guest today.
And
God
thank
bless
you for
you.
your time as well.
And Happy New Year to the both of you. 2018 is a great year.
Thank you.
God bless you. And thank you for watching Your Health is Your Wealth. Remember, in this very present moment, we do have the power to take charge of our life and our health. And have a great day.